I was stocking shelves at Best Buy when my phone buzzed. Sarah's name lit up the screen with a message that made me smile. Surprise. Check your apartment when you get home. My heart actually skipped a beat. We'd been together 3 years, and she rarely did surprises anymore. Maybe she'd finally gotten me that gaming chair I'd been hinting about, or decorated our place for my birthday next week. I showed the text to my coworker Mike. "Dude, you're lucky," he said. "My girl surprises me with credit card bills." I couldn't concentrate for the rest of my shift. Every minute dragged by like an hour. When 6 p.m. finally hit, I practically sprinted to my car. The drive home felt different that day. I was actually excited to see what Sarah had done. We'd been going through a rough patch lately. She'd been making more comments about my gaming, calling it immature, but maybe this was her way of showing she cared about what mattered to me. I bounded up the stairs to our second-floor apartment, fumbling with my keys. The lock clicked open, and I stepped inside, calling out, "Sarah, I'm home!" The silence hit me first. Then I looked toward the living room. My gaming setup was gone, not moved, not rearranged. Gone. The custom desk I'd built myself? Gone. My RTX 4080 gaming PC that I'd saved 8 months to buy? Gone. The dual monitors, the mechanical keyboard, my headset, everything. I stood there like an idiot, blinking at the empty corner where my entire hobby used to live. My mouth went dry. This had to be a mistake. Maybe she'd moved everything to surprise me with a better setup. "Sarah," my voice cracked. She emerged from the bedroom with this huge grin on her face like she'd just won the lottery. "Surprise," she said, throwing her arms wide. "I cleaned up your mess." Where's my stuff?" Her smile got even bigger. "I sold it, all of it. Isn't that great? Now, you have so much more space and you won't be glued to that stupid computer all the time." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You sold it?" "Relax, it's just a prank. God, you should see your face right now." She actually started laughing. "I got some decent money for it too. We can use it for something actually useful. 3 years together. 3 years of her saying she supported my hobbies. 3 years of building trust, and she thought destroying everything I cared about was funny. I need you to understand something about Sarah and me. We weren't some toxic couple from the start. When I met her at that coffee shop 2 blocks from campus, she seemed perfect. She was the girl who brought me lunch during my double shifts, the one who helped me move my gaming setup when we got our first apartment together. Hell, she even helped me build my desk, holding boards steady while I drilled screws. "This is so cool," she'd said back then, running her fingers along the LED strips I'd installed. "You're like a tech genius." For the first year, she'd sit beside me while I played, reading or scrolling her phone. She'd cheer when I won matches and bring me snacks during long gaming sessions. I thought I'd found someone who actually got it. When we moved in together officially, she even suggested putting my setup in the living room. "It's the best spot for the lighting," she'd said. "Plus, I like watching you play sometimes." We split everything 50-50. Rent, groceries, utilities. I paid for my gaming stuff, she paid for her yoga classes and organic skincare routine. It felt equal. It felt right. But somewhere around year 2, the comments started, "Don't you think you're getting a little old for games? My coworker's boyfriend took her to Paris last weekend while you were raiding. I just think you could spend your time on more productive things." I brushed it off. Every couple has friction points, right? Besides, she never directly asked me to stop. She'd just make these little remarks and then smile like she was joking. The comments got more frequent around month 6 of living together. She'd roll her eyes when packages from Amazon arrived. She'd make passive-aggressive jokes about my second bedroom when friends came over. "Oh, that's Jake's man cave," she'd say with this fake laugh. "I'm not allowed in there." Except she was allowed. I'd invited her to join me countless times. She just chose not to. Looking back now, I can see she was testing the waters, seeing how far she could push before I pushed back. And like an idiot, I kept accommodating her, kept trying to prove that gaming didn't make me less of a boyfriend. I'd plan date nights, take her to fancy dinners, buy her flowers just because. But none of it mattered, did it? Because she'd already decided who I was supposed to be. "Sarah, where is my stuff?" My voice was barely above a whisper. She was still giggling, like this was the funniest thing that had ever happened. I told you I sold it. Facebook Marketplace is amazing. I had buyers lined up all day. You sold my gaming PC? That old thing? Yeah, some college kid came and picked it up this morning. He was so excited. She waved her hand dismissively. Don't worry, I got like $200 for it. $200 for a system I'd paid $3,000 for. The room started spinning. Sarah, that wasn't old. I built that PC 6 months ago. Oh, please, it was just taking up space, and those weird little figurines, gone too. I swear, grown men collecting toys. She shook her head, like I was a child who'd been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Those were limited edition collectibles. Some of them were worth what? They're plastic, Jake. Plastic toys. That's when something inside me snapped. They weren't yours to sell. My voice echoed off the walls. Sarah's smile finally faltered. Whoa, okay, calm down. It's just stuff. Just stuff? I could barely breathe. That was 3 years of saving. 3 years of collecting. That was my stuff, Sarah. God, you're being so dramatic. She crossed her arms. Look, I was trying to help you grow up. You spend every free moment on that computer instead of with me. I thought if I got rid of the distraction, you thought you'd just decide what's best for my life? Someone has to. You're 26 years old, Jake. Don't you want to do something meaningful with your time? The audacity was breathtaking. This woman had sold everything I owned without asking, and somehow I was the problem. Where's the money? I asked. What money? The money from selling my stuff. Where is it? She shifted uncomfortably. I used some of it for groceries, and I got my nails done. Oh, and I paid my car payment early. You used my money for your car payment? Our money. We're partners, remember? Partners don't steal from each other, I wanted to scream. Partners don't destroy each other's hobbies as a prank. Sarah, I need you to get my stuff back, right now. She laughed again, but it sounded forced this time. Are you serious? It's gone, Jake. Sold. Done. Just be happy we have more space now. More space for what? For us. For adult things. We could put a nice bookshelf there, or a plant, or... I don't want a plant where my gaming setup used to be. The argument went in circles for another 20 minutes. She kept insisting it was just a prank, bro, and that I was totally overreacting. She promised she could buy me better stuff later, when I proved I could be more responsible. Every word made it worse. This wasn't a prank. This was control. I couldn't sleep that night. Sarah acted like everything was normal, humming while she did her skincare routine, chatting about her day like she hadn't just destroyed 3 years of my life. The moment she left for work the next morning, I grabbed my laptop and started investigating. Facebook Marketplace was my first stop. I searched for gaming PCs, monitors, collectibles, anything that might be my stuff. What I found made my blood run cold. There it was. My custom gaming rig, listed 12 hours ago. The photos were taken in our living room. I could see our couch in the background. The listing title read, High-End Gaming PC, Quick Sale, $200 OBO. $200 for a system with a $700 graphics card alone. But here's the kicker. The description was detailed. Really detailed. Custom-built gaming PC with RTX 4080 graphics card, Intel i7 processor, 32 GB 8 RAM, 2 TB 8 SSD storage, liquid cooling system. Perfect for high-end gaming or streaming. Retail value over $3,000, selling due to moving, cash only, pickup preferred. She knew exactly what she was selling. She listed the specs perfectly. She even mentioned the retail value. This wasn't ignorance. This was theft. I screenshotted everything, my hands shaking. Then I kept searching. My dual monitors, sold for $50 each. Listed retail value in the description, $300 each. My mechanical keyboard, $15. Original price, $200. My gaming headset, $20. I'd paid $180. My collectible figures, the ones she called plastic toys, were the worst. My limited edition Master Chief figure that I'd pre-ordered and waited 8 months for, sold for $5. It was worth $150 on eBay. Every single listing was the same pattern. Accurate descriptions showing she knew the real value, but prices so low it was basically giving stuff away. I calculated it all up. She'd sold roughly $4,500 worth of my below, gangs for about $400 total. Then I found something that made my stomach drop. One of the comments on the gaming PC listing from the buyer. Thanks again. My girlfriend thought I was crazy for driving 2 hours for this deal, but I knew it was worth way more than $200. You sure you want to sell it this cheap? Sarah's response, yeah, just need it gone ASAP. My boyfriend doesn't know I'm selling it yet. She'd told a stranger that she was selling my stuff without my knowledge. She'd admitted it was theft. In writing. I screenshotted that too, my heart pounding. This wasn't a prank gone wrong. This wasn't her trying to help me grow up. This was calculated, deliberate, criminal. And I had proof. I should have confronted her immediately with the screenshots. Instead, I decided to dig deeper. Something about this whole situation felt off, and my gut was telling me there was more to uncover. I started with her social media. Sarah's Instagram was full of the usual stuff. Food photos, workout selfies, pictures of us together. But when I scrolled back a few months, I found something interesting. A series of posts to her close friend's story that I apparently wasn't included in anymore. Thank God for mutual friends. My buddy Tom's girlfriend Jessica had screenshots. Apparently, Sarah had been posting regularly about our relationship, and it wasn't pretty. Guys, I need advice. My boyfriend is 26 and still obsessed with video games. Like, obsessed. He spent $200 on a plastic robot last week. A plastic robot. How do I fix this? Posted 3 months ago. Update. Talked to Jake about the gaming thing. He says it's his hobby, and I should be supportive. No. I didn't sign up to date a teenager. Operation Fix My Boyfriend starts now. Posted 6 weeks ago. Day 12 of trying to get Jake interested in adult activities. Suggested we go hiking, he said he had a raid. Suggested cooking together, he ordered takeout so he wouldn't miss his gaming session. I'm starting to think drastic measures are needed. Posted 3 weeks ago. Jessica had sent me 5 more screenshots, each one worse than the last. Sarah had been documenting her plan to fix me for months. She'd asked for advice on how to make me grow out of gaming. She'd posted polls asking if she should just get rid of the temptation. The final screenshot was from yesterday, posted just hours after she'd sold all my stuff. Did it! Finally got rid of all my boyfriend's gaming junk while he was at work. He's mad now, but he'll thank me later when he sees how much better our relationship can be without all those distractions. Sometimes you have to save people from themselves. The comments on that post were brutal. Girl, that's literally theft. You can't just sell someone else's property. This is psycho behavior. Run, Jake, run. My ex did something like this. That's why he's my EX. But what really got me was her response to the criticism. Y'all are just jealous that I care enough about my relationship to take action. Jake will realize I did this out of love. Out of love. She'd stolen and sold my belongings out of love. I kept digging, and that's when I found the real bombshell. Jessica had sent me one more screenshot from Sarah's private Twitter account. Anyone know a good way to start a fight with your boyfriend? Need him to break up with me but don't want to be the bad guy. Thinking of doing something that will make him mad enough to leave. Posted 1 week ago. The replies were telling her to just be honest, to have an adult conversation. But Sarah's response made everything crystal clear. Nah, I need him to be the one who ends it. Already got someone in. Well, is lined up and don't want the drama of people thinking I cheated. Need to make it look like his fault somehow. She hadn't sold my stuff to fix me. She'd sold my stuff to make me dump her. I stared at that Twitter screenshot for 10 minutes, reading it over and over. Sarah had orchestrated this entire thing to make me break up with her. She wanted out of our relationship but didn't want to look like the bad guy. But why go to such elaborate lengths? Why not just leave? That's when I remembered something Tom had told me months ago. Something about Sarah's ex-boyfriend, David. I'd never paid much attention to the story. Tom mentioned that David had gone through some crazy drama with Sarah, but I'd brushed it off as typical breakup gossip. Now, though, I needed details. I called Tom. Dude, what's going on? He answered. Jessica told me Sarah posted some crazy stuff about you. I need to know about David, her ex. What exactly happened between them? Tom was quiet for a moment. Jake, why are you asking about? Just tell me, please. Look, David's a good guy. We still hang out sometimes. But what Sarah did to him... Tom sighed. She sold his motorcycle while he was at work, claimed it was dangerous and she was protecting him, took the money and spent it on a vacation with her girlfriends. My stomach dropped. She sold his motorcycle? A vintage Harley he'd been restoring for 3 years. Sold it for like a quarter of what it was worth. When David freaked out, she played victim, told everyone he was financially abusive for being upset about it. The pattern was emerging. This wasn't Sarah's first time pulling this stunt. What happened after that? David tried to work it out at first, but then he found out she'd been cheating on him for months. She'd sold the bike to force a breakup because she was too coward to just leave. I felt sick. Did he get his money back? Some of it, through small claims court, but the bike was already sold to some collector 3 states away. David never got it back. After hanging up with Tom, I did what I should have done from the beginning. I looked up Sarah's other ex-boyfriends on social media. It took some digging, but I found David's Instagram. I sent him a direct message explaining who I was and what had happened. He responded within an hour. "Oh man, I'm sorry," he wrote. "I tried to warn a few people about her, but nobody believed me. She has this way of making you think you're the crazy one." David sent me screenshots of their text conversations from 2 years ago. The similarities were chilling. Sarah had called his motorcycle restoration hobby immature and a waste of money. She'd suggested he grow up and find more meaningful ways to spend his time. When he didn't comply, she'd taken matters into her own hands. The worst part, David told me over the phone that night, wasn't even losing the bike. It was realizing she'd been planning it for months. She'd take pictures of it, ask questions about its value, research how to sell motorcycles online, all while pretending to support my hobby. "Did you ever find out about the other guy?" "Yeah, some coworker of hers. She'd been seeing him for 4 months before the bike incident. He dumped her when he found out what she'd done, though. Guess he realized what kind of person she really was." I thanked David and hung up, my head spinning. This wasn't just about me and my gaming setup. This was Sarah's pattern. She'd done this before, and she'd probably do it again. But here's what she didn't count on. I wasn't David. I wasn't going to just accept this and move on. I was going to fight back. The next morning, I did something Sarah wasn't expecting. Nothing. I didn't bring up the gaming setup. I didn't mention the screenshots. I didn't ask about the money again. I just got ready for work like it was any other day. "You're being weird," Sarah said as I grabbed my keys. "Am I?" I kept my voice neutral. "Yeah, you're quiet. Are you still mad about yesterday?" I looked at her for a long moment. This woman who'd spent months planning to destroy my belongings, who'd sold my stuff to force a breakup so she could run off with some other guy, who thought theft was an acceptable form of communication. "I'm fine," I said, and left for work. But I wasn't fine. I was planning. During my lunch break, I called out of work for the rest of the week. Family emergency, I told my manager. Then I drove home, knowing Sarah would be at her office until 6. I had 4 hours to move everything that mattered. Important documents first: birth certificate, passport, social security card, insurance papers. All of it went into a box in my car trunk. Then my remaining clothes, my work uniforms, my laptop, and the few collectibles she hadn't found yet. While I was packing, I called a locksmith. "How soon can you change the locks on an apartment?" "Depends. You the property owner?" "My name's on the lease." Which was true. We were both on it, but the lease agreement stated either tenant could change locks with 24-hour notice to the other tenant. I can be there in an hour. Perfect. Next call was to a lawyer. Well, a legal aid clinic, since I couldn't afford a real attorney. But they explained my options clearly enough. "If you have proof she sold your property without permission, you can file in small claims court for the value of the items," the paralegal explained. "Do you have documentation of what was sold and for how much?" "Screenshots of all the listings, plus proof she knew she was selling it without my knowledge. That's theft, technically. You could press criminal charges, but small claims might be faster for getting your money back." I filed the paperwork that afternoon. Sarah would be served within a week. Then I did the hardest part. I blocked her on everything: phone, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, even Venmo. I changed my Netflix password, removed her from my Spotify family plan, and updated my emergency contacts at work. By the time she got home that evening, I was gone. My phone started buzzing around 6:30 p.m. Unknown numbers. She was calling from other people's phones. Jake, what the hell? Why are the locks changed? Jake, this is crazy. Call me back. Okay, I get it, you're mad. But locking me out of my own apartment? That's illegal. I didn't respond to any of them. The next day, she tried a different approach. Text messages from her friends' phones. Sarah's really sorry. She realizes she messed up. Can you at least talk to her? She's crying at work. Whatever fight you guys had, it's not worth this. Dude, just call your girlfriend back. She's worried sick. Still nothing from me. By day 3, the messages changed tone. Fine, be immature, but you can't just steal an apartment from someone. I'm calling the police if you don't let me get my stuff. You're being psychotic right now. The funny thing? She never once apologized for selling my belongings. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in small claims court watching Sarah lie to a judge. Your Honor, my boyfriend completely overreacted, she was saying. I sold a few old electronics to make space in our apartment. They were just collecting dust, and I thought he'd appreciate having more room for adult furniture. She was representing herself, which turned out to be a mistake. She'd dressed up nicely and was using her most reasonable voice, but she clearly hadn't prepared for this. When it was my turn to speak, I pulled out my folder of evidence. Your Honor, I have screenshots of all the Facebook Marketplace listings the defendant posted. As you can see, she accurately described every item, including retail values, which proves she knew exactly what CEO he was selling. I handed the judge printouts of every listing. Sarah's confident expression started to crack. I also have this screenshot of a comment where the defendant admits to selling my property without my knowledge. The judge studied the conversation thread where Sarah had told the buyer, my boyfriend doesn't know I'm selling it yet. Furthermore, I continued, I have evidence that this was premeditated theft, not a misunderstanding. I showed the judge Sarah's social media posts about planning to get rid of the temptation and her Twitter post about needing to start a fight to make me break up with her. Sarah's face went white. Where did you get those? Those were private. Posted on social media isn't private, ma'am, the judge said dryly. Continue, Mr. Johnson. I laid out the full scope of what she'd sold. $4,500 worth of electronics and collectibles sold for $400, with her keeping all the money. I showed receipts proving what I'd originally paid for everything. Your Honor, I said, this wasn't a girlfriend making a mistake. This was calculated theft designed to force an argument and end our relationship. The judge looked at Sarah. Ma'am, do you have any evidence that these items belong to you, or that you had permission to sell them? We lived together. We shared everything. Do you have any documentation showing joint ownership of a $3,000 gaming computer? Sarah's lawyer, oh wait, she didn't have one, would have told her to stop talking, but she kept digging herself deeper. Look, he was obsessed with those stupid games. I was trying to help him grow up. Someone had to take action. The judge's expression said everything. In the span of one sentence, Sarah had admitted to theft and revealed her motive. Ma'am, regardless of your opinion of video games, you cannot sell property that doesn't belong to you. That's theft. The ruling was swift and brutal. Sarah owed me $4,500 in damages plus court costs. The judge also ordered her to provide documentation of where the money from the sales had gone and suggested I could pursue criminal charges if I chose to. Outside the courthouse, Sarah finally tried to apologize. Jake, I'm sorry, okay? I made a mistake, but we can work this out. We don't need lawyers and judges involved in our relationship. We don't have a relationship, I said. We haven't had one since you decided to steal from me. It wasn't stealing, I was trying to help me grow up. I know. You've mentioned that. She followed me to my car, still talking. What about the apartment? What about our life together? You gave up our life when you sold mine. That's when she finally got angry. The mask slipped completely. Fine. You know what? I'm glad I sold your stupid toys. You're a pathetic man-child and I deserve better anyway. Have fun being alone with your precious video games. I got in my car and drove away. 2 days later, I found out from Tom that Sarah's new boyfriend, the coworker she'd been texting, had dumped her. Apparently word had gotten around about what she'd done to me, and he decided he didn't want to be her next victim. Karma's funny like that. 6 months later, I'm writing this from my new apartment. It's smaller than the place I shared with Sarah, but it's mine. Every piece of furniture, every electronic device, every collectible figure on the shelves, it all belongs to me, and nobody can take it away as a prank. My gaming setup is better than ever. I used Sarah's court-ordered payment to build a system that would make my old PC weep with envy. RTX 4090, top-of-the-line everything. It's beautiful. But the best upgrade wasn't hard W. 3 months ago, I met Emma at a board game cafe downtown. She was beating everyone at Settlers of Catan and trash-talking like a pro. When I introduced myself, she grinned and said, "Want to team up for the next game? I need someone who looks like they know strategy." We've been together ever since. Emma Games. She understands the appeal of a well-executed raid, the satisfaction of completing a difficult achievement, the joy of finding that perfect rare collectible. She's got her own setup in her apartment, not as high-end as mine, but she built it herself, and she's proud of it. Last week, she helped me rearrange my gaming corner to fit a second desk. "You sure you don't mind sharing the space?" she asked. I laughed. "Emma, I've been looking for a player too, my whole life." The difference is staggering. Sarah saw my hobbies as competition for my attention. Emma sees them as something we can enjoy together. Sarah thought my interests were childish obstacles to overcome. Emma thinks they're part of what makes me interesting. A few weeks ago, Sarah texted me from a new number. I don't know how she got it, probably through mutual friends. "I miss you," the message said. "I know I messed up, but can't we try again? I've changed." I showed the text to Emma. She read it and snorted. "What did you say back?" "Nothing. There's nothing to say." Good. She had her chance to be with someone amazing and she chose to throw it away. That's the thing about toxic people, they don't really change. They just find new victims. Sarah's probably out there right now, dating some new guy and planning how to fix his hobbies too. But I learned something valuable from all this. I learned to recognize the signs early. The little comments about your interests being immature, the suggestions that you should grow up and find better ways to spend your time, the gradual attempts to, control and modify who you are. I learned that the right person doesn't try to change you. They celebrate who you are. And I learned that sometimes, the best revenge is simply living well. If you're watching this and you've been through something similar, whether it was gaming equipment, sports memorabilia, art supplies, or any other hobby someone tried to fix, know this: your interests matter. Your passions are valid, and anyone who tries to destroy what you love as a way of controlling you doesn't deserve a place in your life. Trust me on this one. I never came back, and it was the best decision I ever made. What about you? Have you ever had someone try to fix your hobbies? Let me know in the comments. And if you're going through something like this right now, get out, document everything, and never let anyone convince you that destroying your property is a form of love. You deserve better than that. We all do.